In this episode, we'll be looking at general approaches and factors to consider when recording vocals for your song. And we've decided to overdub the vocals separately to the live instrumental session we recorded earlier for very good reasons. Firstly, it's to eliminate the effects of mic spill from the other instruments into the sensitive vocal condenser mic we'll be using. This increases the chance of getting a better instrumental take for the guitarist vocalist in the band. And this method will also allow for higher quality vocal tracks to be mixed with better results for the overall recording of the song, because we have more control over the recording environment. It's important to choose a space for recording vocals that's as acoustically dead as possible with no natural reverb. With vocals, we're aiming to capture as much clarity of the voice as possible in a dry atmosphere without echo. We want to avoid ambience. Soft walls and carpets in a room will aid this dryness, and if possible, building a three-sided isolation booth with blankets or other soft material can also help. Bear in mind, the vocalist needs to be comfortable in the environment they're singing in too. If they're reading lyrics, make sure they're placed on a stand because the mic will pick up any paper rustling noises. It's also a good idea for them to have water nearby to drink if needed. Overall, the less distractions there are in the space, the more comfortable the vocalist will be in their performance, and it will reap rewards. It's good to have someone to assume the role of engineer with you, monitoring the sound and offering a second opinion on whether a vocal take could be approached in a slightly different way for better results. They can also start, stop and erase unwanted takes without you being distracted from focusing on your performance. We're using a condenser mic to track vocals. You may want to experiment with an additional second dynamic or condenser mic to add a different tonality when tracking too, but a decent condenser mic will be enough for most. There's a wide range of condenser mics available in the market, and advancements in manufacturing mean affordable models like the one we're using can still produce quality results for those on a budget. We advise always using the best mic you can afford or even loan for your session. The positioning of the mic can affect the vocal performance, and it's best to have the vocalist singing up into the condenser mic by a couple of inches above. Singing upwards helps to open the vocalist's throat and enable them to physically reach higher notes more easily. The distance a condenser needs to be from the singer will depend on the individual and their vocal projection, but it's important not to position it too close, even for quieter singing parts. This is to avoid what's known as the proximity effect from being too close to the mic, where the vocal can become too muddy and lacks the required clarity. Condenser mics can be sensitive enough to pick up noise that you won't want on your vocal track, such as traffic in the street outside or voices in the next room. Try to choose a location where these factors are minimal, or consider recording at a time of day when it will be quieter. A mic reflection screen that attaches to the mic stand can help filter unwanted sound reflections and ambience from the room itself. Though they are no substitute for a properly insulated vocal booth, they can be a useful investment if you plan to make regular recordings. A pop shield is even more important, helping to reduce the unwanted popping and thumping caused by forming plosives. These can be found in certain words while singing in close proximity to a microphone. It's important to try and retain the live feel of the track you have so far. Carry that through with the vocal recording so it complements what you already have. Try to record parts you can recreate consistently live. You may also try to track the vocals in longer segments so the take sounds more like a natural live performance and retains an organic feel. The vocalist needs to be comfortable with the instrumental recording before even attempting to track. Warming up is essential, so don't rush into recording the vocals straight after setting up. Try some run-throughs of the song, planning where the best places are to stop and to break the song up. Also consider how far you need to be from the mic for specific dynamic parts. This is called mic technique, and it's vital for a good take. Knowing when to pull back from the mic on loud parts and get a little closer to it for quieter parts may take some time to get used to for vocalists who are new to recording, but it's an important skill to learn. Remember, the voice is a delicate instrument and you need to be mindful of that when recording it. A singer's performance may well improve during the session as their voice warms up. So although the idea of being a Sinatra-style one-take wonder and getting it done quick might sound good on paper, it might not achieve the best results in the long run. But the other side of that is that repeatedly singing for over an hour will cause fatigue. So keep that in mind. There will be a point where a vocalist's performance may start to decline, so try not to take too long with the tracking. Part of a vocalist being comfortable during a vocal recording session is their monitor headphone mix. There are two elements to this. Firstly, although effects will be added to the vocal in the mixdown stage, it's important to add them for headphone mixes for the singer. It's also important the singer is comfortable with the balance between their vocal level in the monitor headphones and the music they are singing to. Take the time to get this right first before you start recording, because it will produce better results. If the vocal headphone mix is too dry, it may negatively affect the performance. Using your recording software's plugins to add a little reverb can be very useful for this. The level of the monitored vocal in the headphone mix compared to the other instruments is vital too. Some singers will prefer their vocal louder, while others may want the instrumental music more prominent in their headphone mix. Again, take the time to get this right and communicate with each other until you find a level that the vocalist is comfortable with, because it will affect their performance greatly. Here we're using Steinberg Cubase 8's Control Room feature to utilise a monitor mix of the song for the vocalist to use in their headphones. This is a bespoke mix based on the singer's preferences that doesn't affect the main output mix our engineer can hear. Finally, it might sound obvious, but if there's anything you're unhappy with as a vocalist or engineer in the vocal take, it's worth addressing there and then, even if it means punching in some lines again here and there that don't sound quite right or as good as the rest. The lane tracks and re-record features on the Cubase 8 software we're using make redoing parts and storing multiple takes especially easy, and it's worth utilising them. Review what you record with critical ears and don't be afraid to speak up if you're not happy with something. It's always best to address it there and then rather than later on. If the raw vocal tracks sound good, it will make the mixing stage much more straightforward.